Next up, we are going to do the 2024 box office recap. All right, guys, so it's time for the 2024 box office recap. Now, we are not going to go into super depth on some of this stuff, but we're going to go into depth a little bit here and there, kind of the kiddie pool depth, I guess you would say. But again, guys, for those of you that don't know, I am an internationally award-winning filmmaker. Love making films. Been a fan my whole life of art, of cinema. You can't see it necessarily, but I've got you see a couple. I got like posters all around my room and stuff. Great films of the past that have influenced me, or I'm just a fan of. So I really love film. I really love that art form, and I really love taking risks and seeing those pay off. Again, like I said in the last segment, they're not necessarily doing that anymore. It's all reboots, sequels, and this and that. But let's go ahead and take a look at the top 10 box office for this past year. And this may come as no surprise to some of you guys, and maybe some shockers in here. I don't know. But starting at the tippity top there at $1.7 billion is Inside Out 2. I did see that myself with my family, and I'll talk about that in a little bit, what I thought about it. But $1.7 billion. Remember, some of the studios were saying like the $1 billion films are over with and they're gone and this and that and blah, 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 blah since the pandemic. But you had the Spider-Man movie come out, had the Barbenheimer. They've been proven wrong. They're just coming out with crap. Either that or they don't know how to advertise and market it. Maybe they need to give my boy Mike a call. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing all this out there, seeing what sticks, right? Inside Out 2, a sequel, $1.7 billion, leading it up. Deadpool and Wolverine, the third installment of Deadpool, $1.3 billion with a B. These are both billion-dollar films, right? Now, I'm not going to go into how much they made or how much we think they made profit-wise, how profitable these films were, okay? We'll do that on another video, perhaps. But on this one, we're just looking right here at this. We are going to look at some of the bombs of this past year and their losses. But for the top 10, we're just kind of glossing over, that. We're not worried about that. We're just looking at the box office. Moana 2, a sequel. Almost $1.991 billion right there. Despicable Me 4, $969 million. Almost $1 billion. It'll get to $1 billion with, releases and whatnot. Dune Part 2, sequel. Second part, not a sequel, I guess, second part of the same story, whatever. You have to go see it, right? $714 million. Wicked, another established property, I guess would be the best way to put it. From the stage play to the silver screen here. Wicked, $698 million. Godzilla and Kong, again another established franchise there. At number 7, $572 million. Kung Fu Panda 4, $548 million. Mufasa, The Lion King, another established franchise, a reboot, a live action reboot. I can't stand these, by the way. I've said that before, because there's nothing live action about these films that Disney is doing. It's still animation, computer graphic animation, CGI, CG, whatever you want to call it, label or what. It's not real. It's not real. You might get some real actors in there from time to time in some of these films, but most of the scenery and the artwork and the animals, and it's CG animation. They're just doing it to make money. And then last up for our top 10, $478 million is Venom, The Last Dance. So that is what, third one, I think, of the Venom, third. And that's really where we're stopping, top 10. That's all we're really discussing. But you can look on down here. Gladiator 2, Beetlejuice, sequel. Bad Boys Ride or Die. I think that's the fourth. That's the fourth one from them. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, established. Sonic the Hedgehog 3, established. Twisters, a reboot. It Ends With Us is like the first one that we come across that's original. And I say original, but it may not be. But as far as I'm aware, it is. And then we're back to an Alien movie. Yeah, I mean, you see what I'm saying here? I mean, yeah, they keep doing all this because it keeps working. But at the same time, that's all they're doing. That's all they're focusing on. So yeah, if that's all that's at the box office, that's all we can see. So we're a little limited. We're gonna go see these if we're gonna go. But man, I tell you what, you gotta really be pumping some stuff out for me to go and spend all that money at the theater, especially if I'm taking the whole family. You know what I'm saying? All right, so let's go ahead and go from our top 10 over to Screen Rant to the 10 biggest box office flops of 2024. All right, so we're not going to read every bit of this article. We will go through, obviously, the 10 called out, a little details on those, but not a deep dive here either. Links for all this will be in the show notes below. That was Box Office Mojo. This is Screen Rant. Both well established. Let's go ahead and hit number 10. This one, pisses me off. You can see on my wall back there, maybe. Let me get a wide shot. I've pointed to it before. Right there. And then I got the DVD in here somewhere too. Joker was such a good movie. Oh man. The cinematography was so good. The story was so well done. The acting was so good. Joker was so good that I've not heard anything good enough about this sequel. Joker, what did I do to make me want to go see it? I want to say it was Jeremy of Geeks and Gamers. I could be wrong. It may be one of those other guys, but basically they were saying that the Joker sequel here made them dislike the first Joker. And I don't want that. I enjoyed the first Joker so much. I don't want to dislike it because of the crappy sequel. You know what I'm saying? So I haven't seen it. And I'm not going to. Usually I'll give stuff a shot. But when I heard that statement, like, I hated it so much and what it did and what it undid, made me despise the original. And man, I don't want to do that. I love the original. Some of the lenses that were used, I actually own some of the same lenses that they used on the cameras. Of course, they were modified, out the yin yang and filters and all kinds of stuff I don't have necessarily. But it's really cool to know I have like a lens, the same kind of lens that they used. So I can do that too, because I'm a cinematographer when I'm not directing my own films. And I love cinematography. I love capturing that right look, that right balance of light and dark, color, shading, just the different color balances through. I love it all. I love that old cinematic, like real look. I don't like all this crisp stuff. I don't want to ruin Joker. I won't see this. Budget of $190 to $200 million. Box office was only $200 million, 206. So if you take the budget and depending on the size of the film, you can double it, or you can, somewhere in that ballpark between, 50% to 100% of the budget is put toward marketing as well. So, they may have had 100 to, not 100. Yeah, 100 to 200 million more may have been put into marketing. So they definitely, and then you split the box office with the theater. So they didn't make any money. Let's see. Number 9, of course, Madam Web. Madam Web. We talked about that one before. This is $80 to $100 million budget, and it did $100 million. So pretty much the same thing as Joker. I mean, it just made its budget back, if you want to call it that. So it didn't make any money though. And in fact, once you add on the marketing again, advertising, it lost money. No question. Not interested in seeing that one either. Horizon: An American Saga, Chapter 1. Don't care anything about it. That $50 million budget only made $38.2 at the box office. What's next? The Crow. Oh my God. It's another one. Let it die, bro. Let it die. Nobody needed to reboot this one. Look, and I don't have anything against old Skarsgård there. But I know it was a payday for him, but it didn't need to be made. I would have been so hesitant to like slap money unless I was desperate for money. I don't think he is. I didn't like the look of it. I didn't like the feel of it in any of the trailers. Not one aspect of any trailer made me want to go see this film. I knew I wasn't going to go see this film. And I really like the original Crow. There's so much about that I like. $50 million budget, box office of $24 million. Didn't even get the budget back. Didn't even get the budget back. All right. The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. I was kind of shocked at this one, though, because this is a Guy Ritchie film. I mean, phenomenal casting in there and everything, right? But yeah, it didn't do good at the box office. I didn't see it either. Again, I don't get out much, and I don't go to the box office that much. We'll talk about some in just a minute that I did go see. But again, I got to kind of really, really want to go see it and really think it's going to be good. While this one looks good, I did not go see it. And apparently, neither did a lot of other people. Here, let me tell you what Here was. Here, I thought was some, when I saw clips, trailers or whatever, I thought it was some fan-made little thing, or, some little jokey joke thing. It had, Forrest and Jenny back together and doing some stuff is what it looked like to me. It had Tom Hanks and Robin, I forget her name, Robin, why can't I think of her name? Robin Wright. And Paul Bettany, all kind of folks in there. It's a Robert Zemeckis film, which, of course, he did Forrest Gump. But I didn't think this was a real movie. I didn't see anything that made me think it was. I thought it was just a little fun little skit they were doing or something like that. So I would 100% blame the marketing on this one, because if you got Tom Hanks movie out there and these other names attached, Robert Zemeckis film, I think you probably could have made your money. $45 to $50 million. They didn't even do 14 million. 13.4 million. Let's go for Fly Me to the Moon. $100 million budget, box office of 42.2. I think the biggest problem there was an overly inflated budget. That's the case for a lot of these, to be fair. But yeah, Scarlett Johansson, Channing Tatum, that's going to pull a crowd maybe, but the budget was too much, I think. It set up the expectations too much. Here you go, 110 to 120 again. For Borderlands, 33 million. What do you do with that? What do you do with that? Apparently nothing. And nobody did. Argyle. This one was advertised really well. I thought it was going to do really good. But again, $200 million budget. $200 million budget. I think what happened was when people started seeing it, word of mouth got out. And I think it was kind of a bait and switch of what kind of movie they thought it was versus what it really was. And people didn't want to go see that. If you know, you know. You with me? $200 million budget. After that, they got $96.2 million at the box office. I mean, great cast. Just didn't have the gumph in there. Didn't get it done. And last but not least, Megalopolis. Again, the trailer, I did a trailer reaction video. I think it had already come out, but I did a trailer reaction video. And I thought it looked pretty interesting. A little out there, but that's what all of, was it Francis? Yeah, Francis Ford Coppola. A lot of his stuff is like that, right? Of course, he did make Godfather. But yeah, Megalopolis looked interesting, but 120 to 136 million, and they only did 13.9 million at the box office. That is a gut punch right there, baby. Boy, I'd be scared to show up in that parking lot rolling in. But at the same time, you're Francis Ford Coppola. You made The Godfather. So you can probably just, hang it out and do whatever you want to in Hollywood. Do your thing, Francis. But yes, that's that right there. Gotta love that. So that was our top 10 for the box office recap. That was the biggest bombs. And yeah, that's pretty much how that looked.
Hey guys, thanks for checking out this clip from the Morning Mayhem. Remember, this is just a portion of the full show that comes out every Friday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. If you hadn't already, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the full shows or these tasty little nuggets.